Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to the Lit Life series. I am your host, KP Carter, and I am so glad that you're joining me tonight for episode 3. Yes, if you've been hanging in there with me since the beginning, I am so grateful. Let me just invite some of my friends in. Oh, you know what I'm looking at? So, I'm looking to invite some people in. And I'm just waiting for my guest to come on into the room. There she is. Hey, Dr. Liz. So, all right, I see that you're here. And you have to request to join. Do you see where you can request to join? I see you, Dr. Liz. I'm just waiting for you to come on in. So while she's figuring out what to do, welcome again to the Lit Life series, where we talk about all things regarding children's literacy and what you can do to help your child become a better reader. I am, she says no, she can't see where to join. Okay, let me see how to do this. Dr. Liz, okay, I'm inviting you in. I hope this works because we have some important stuff to discuss. Yes, I can't wait till you get in here, Dr. Liz. And thank you for joining. All right, we're going to get this together. I just invited you. Did you see the invite? I think we got it now. Dr. Liz, I have invited you in. And can you see to join? It says that you're unable to join. Okay, we're going to get this together, Dr. Liz.
Can you see me now? Oh, okay. Finally. It won't let me do it on my computer.
So no, Instagram Live is the phone thing.
Okay. So let me,
Yes.
then I'm going to have to get my tripod out and ignore the llamas behind me. We just had a llama red pajama party at my school.
Wow.
My kids made our shirts, and we have a baby llama.
Oh my God, look at that. Oh my gosh, that is so wonderful.
So we had a great time. I didn't have time to change into anything other than pajamas, sorry.
Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. So, Dr. Liz, let me just tell folks a little bit about you. I admire Dr. Liz so much. Dr. Lisette Caesar is a children's book author. She is an elementary school principal of a school in New York. I'm going to have her tell you all about that. And, well, I'm not going to say anything more. Dr. Liz, welcome to the Lit Life series. where we talk about everything regarding children's literacy, and I invite some of the amazing children's book authors to join me.
Thank you
So
so much.
you're welcome. Let me tell folks a little bit about our story, though. I met dear Dr. Liz through another acquaintance. We happen to be sorority sisters, and we happen to have books that are about Lizzie. She has a little Lizzie, and I have Lizzie B. Hayes. So let's just get started. Dr. Liz, would you tell us some things about yourself?
Thank you for having me, KP. I appreciate it. So, as she said, my name is Dr. Liz. My real name is actually Dr. Lisette Caesar, but I go by Dr. Liz as an author. But in the daytime, I am a New York City elementary school principal. I founded Mosaic Preparatory Academy July 1st, 2008. I just finished doing some principal stuff before spring break, so as I was saying, being llama, red pajama, and doing all things llama. So I have a llama pajama shirt. There's llamas behind me, and I have a red llama right here.
Oh, look at that.
Red pajama. And she reads to the kids. How cool is that? Her baby. So we had an amazing time with me and my early childhood staff. They took some time out of their spring break today to do literacy activities. This is one of the fun things that we do. We like to have pajama parties where we're reading stories, we're dancing, we're learning new words together and adding it to our word wall. So I'm all about literacy. And so how did I become an author? Well, in 2019, I was diagnosed with stage 2 colon cancer. And I ended up taking off 14 months from being a principal. And so while I was getting infusions, I was missing my babies. My heartbeats is what I call them. So I was missing the kids so much. And so I started to do live readings with the kids and recorded readings. I have a YouTube channel, Reading with Dr. Liz, which I need to upload some new episodes this week, hopefully as I'm on spring break. And so I was doing that, but I was also looking at our reading data. And I noticed that the kids weren't reading as much as they were when I was live and in person, because I was that cheerleader. I was calling home like, hey, it's 6:30. You haven't read a book today yet? What? Because we have an online reading platform called On Reading. And I noticed that some kids just fell off and wasn't reading as much. And I was like, oh, no, we got to figure this out. I said, so maybe if I tell them my story about how I was a struggling reader in first grade and how it took a lot of work for me to break that reading code. You know, reading is, in English language reading is kind of difficult because there's all these different rules, right? And I had a hard time breaking that cycle. And so I wrote my very first book while I was getting infusions for 4 hours every 2 weeks while I was doing cancer treatment. Little Lizzie Learns to Read was the first book, and it was really written for my heartbeats, my scholars at Mosaic Preparatory Academy, to encourage them to read, to encourage them to persevere and to have grit and to really work hard to reach their goals. And so when I went back to school after they told me the cancer was gone, that I was cancer free, I went back last July. And when I met with the kids in September, they kept asking me a lot of questions about cancer. And they wanted to know whether or not cancer was contagious and whether they could hug me, because we're a hugging school. We love hugging each other. And so they're like, well, can we hug you? Is it okay? Will we get cancer? I was like, no, you won't get cancer from hugging me. I love you all. But remember, this is during a pandemic, right? So they had valid questions. They wanted to know, was I contagious? Was I going to spread something to them? Because they really didn't know. I mean, Autumn had heard about the word cancer, but did not really know what it was. And so because I believe in putting in our school library, our classroom libraries, our school library, we have a Robin Hood / Target library, books about things that are happening to us, books about us, books for us. I went on a search to find cancer books that were relevant to the type of cancer I had, to also cancer books that looked like me. I really couldn't find any books that looked like me. And so I said, you know what? And this is September of the school year. I said, I'm going to just sit down and write a book. I'm going to write a book telling my stories, or my books are for my kids, my scholars, right? And so that's how Little Lizzie and the Big Blue Parade came about. I wanted to make sure that all of my students understood my cancer journey, but I also wanted to make sure that they understood that the reason why I beat cancer the first time was because of their love and their devotion to me and seeing me get better. The kids sent me cards and videos. They would send me text messages. Parents would call me. The entire 14 months, they really prayed for me and prayed over me and just really uplifted me all the time. And so now, even though the cancer has returned, I'm back at work, but I'm working remotely right now. The kids check on me all the time. Family check on me all the time. They're so excited when they see me live. We had a STEAM day yesterday, all things science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And I was virtual, but I was live. And they were showing me their experiments. And they were so excited to share their learning with me. And so they continue to uplift me on this journey as I continue to uplift them on this journey of learning and learning about books and stories that represent who they are as a people. And so that's what really drives me in terms of writing these books. I'm working on my third book to talk about I was bullied in high school because of my size. My cousin and I had always went to school, elementary school through high school. And she's a skinny girl, always been a skinny girl. And I was always a little chunky, and it's okay to be chunky. I like my size. But they would compare us all the time. They would call us names because one was small, one was big. And so I'm writing my story about how I overcame being bullied in high school. And that's because I think important that people see that you can still be a success even if you had challenges. You can overcome obstacles. Your current situation does not determine your outcome in life.
No, we can. That is amazing. Like I always say, you are really my hero because you just press on, and it gives me courage to get me to keep pressing on. Tell us how you use your books to promote literacy.
So
you talked a little bit about that, but
yeah. So originally they were both written for my own kids, right? My school as I'm a principal, and someone actually donated both my books to every single one of my scholars, and they bought the books for every single kid in the school. But the books have been so well received from charter schools, from public schools. They found the books on Amazon. They're calling me all the time, asking me how can they utilize it to promote literacy? Can they get a recording of me talking about my literacy challenges? And so I've been recording specifically for principals who've asked me to do that for them. And kids have been writing me little notes saying how they are a struggling reader, but they're trying hard. And I gave them a SMART goals chart. They're trying really hard because little Lizzie tries hard, right? She never gave up. She wanted to see herself be a success. I always said at the age of 9 that someday I would be a teacher and a doctor. I didn't know then that both would come true, right? So now I was a teacher before I became a literacy staff developer and a principal, and I have my doctorate. So we have to put those things out into the atmosphere and make sure we are affirming our children so that these things become a success. My mom was always my cheerleader. She said, you can do whatever you're going to do, that this is just one step until you becoming whatever it is you want to become. And so she came home every day and she worked with me and she made sure I was reading and writing words and studying, and so did my siblings. And so these are the things I talk to with parents all the time as I'm doing workshops or around the book, doing works with my kids, other kids. I've been in so many different states in the evenings and the weekends outside of my principalship, just talking about the importance of being a family around literacy, that this work is not just for the child, it's for the entire family.
Oh my goodness.
And Grandma Love Inc. is with us, and I just joined this nonprofit organization I'm excited about that's in Brooklyn that's promoting literacy. And they bought tons of my books, and they're putting it in vending machines in hospitals and public schools in Brooklyn, in Harlem. I'm so excited to see the books going in vending machines, and that kids can have access to books even if they're sick in hospitals. I donated several hundreds of books to different hospitals, different organizations throughout New York, throughout actually all 50 states. There were books sent out, the second book, Little Lizzie and the Big Parade, because I wanted kids who are not doing well, who have medical issues, conditions, to be uplifted, to realize there are people who are thinking about you, who care about you, who are praying for you, praying that you get through this obstacle. So I would send gift packages. I had a fundraiser, raised thousands of dollars for Colon Cancer Coalition Alliance. Sent books everywhere, as many places as I could. I still have books after I go out. I just been a little behind schedule. Just being a principal is a little tiring. But there's books going out to different organizations. Ronald McDonald House, I sent books to. I sent books all the way to Ohio, to Texas. So I'm excited that the books are getting in hands all over this United States.
That is amazing. That is amazing. You talked a little bit about this, but could you give a few tips for parents that they can use at home to support their child? Can you think of like 3 tips that parents can use?
You know, when we teach kids how to ride a bike, what do? We practice, right? They don't learn it the first time. they practice and practice and practice. And that's the same thing with reading. I had to practice it during the school day in school with the teachers, right? The experts. I practiced it at home when I was little, and I still practice it. I read every single day. Every book that goes into my school, though, I read. So I don't ever send home books that I have not personally read myself or my team. I read all the time. And the other thing is just putting sight words. My kids in my school have their sight words on their closet doors. They have words all around the house. They have labeled everything because little Lizzie has everything labeled. So they label the television, they label clocks, they label the bed. And just having kids study and practice those words, right, is very important. And then just comprehension is also important. So one of the things I talk to families about is taking a little walk. There is so much learning you can do just having a walk with your child. You can read street signs and think about, well, why is that street named Thurgood Marshall? Let's think about that. You know, when you're going to the supermarket, there's so much literacy and so much numeracy that you can do there. There's so much learning you can do just having a conversation with your child that is going to propel your child to do great things.
Oh my gosh, those are excellent tips. Thank you so much for sharing those. So now tell us what's next. You mentioned that you're working on a book.
Mm-hmm. I am.
Okay.
I'm playing around with the title, but it's going to definitely have something in the title about bucket filling because we are the very first bucket filling school in New York City. We talk to the kids all the time about when you're filling someone's bucket, you're just doing it because it's the right thing to do. And it makes you feel good when you're doing good for someone else. And so I'm going to definitely include it. My books are realistic fiction. Most of the events have been are real, but of course I'm writing for children, so you have to do some embellishing. So
yes.
I didn't know anything about bucket filling when I was teased in high school, so there will be some things about bucket filling in the second book, in the third book. And so what else is next is that I'm continuing to do my literacy consultant work. I'm continuing to do my leadership consultant. I do consultancy work for Sight, where I help aspiring school leaders prepare for their next role in leadership. And hopefully I'll be retiring soon and continue to write and to tour and to talk about literacy and to talk about the importance of reading and writing. That
is wonderful. And we need you to keep doing all of that. The future leaders, the future readers of your books, we need you. But so now tell us.
I'll be doing it as long as, you know, hopefully I'm hoping soon that the cancer will be completely gone. I'm still on chemo today. So I'm hoping that it's gone soon and I can do more work that I know it's important that we do this work, especially after this pandemic. You know, we want to make sure the kids catch up in their literacy skills.
Yes, definitely. Tell us how we can get your books.
So my books are available on my website, which is littlelizzie.org, and they're also available on Amazon.com.
But you would prefer that we get them from Little Lizzie.
I prefer that, of course, you know. And I'm still, for Little Lizzie and the Big Blue Parade, I'm still donating money to cancer research when people purchase that book.
Yes. And it's LITTLELIZZY.org.
Yes.
Gotcha. Gotcha. This has been an amazing conversation. I'm so glad that you accepted my invitation to come on. And you were one of the first people to attend my 10 Steps to Reading Success workshop. And I'm so grateful to you for that. That was when I did the reboot for that workshop. So I'm going to be doing something special on April 24th. I'm going to be giving an overview of the program, and it's going to be free.
Awesome.
Yes, a nice free overview. I'll put something about that in the comments. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
I thank you so much for this platform. I thank you for the work that you're doing in literacy and in educating parents how to help their children at home. I did attend your workshop. It was phenomenal. I think all parents need to attend. But, you know, this is a work that we all have to do collectively to help our children, especially our children of color, where we know that there is a disparity in terms of getting books in the hands of kids. And it looks like we have a 100-book challenge, and we're making sure every single child goes home with 100 books this school year. And it's a challenge to make sure that people come out and support, right? So I want to thank you for the work that you do because it's so critical.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you for joining me. We made it through episode 3 of the Lit Life series. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.